The Cubic version 21.0 release is loaded with new features, improvements, and refinements. These changes have come from the annual survey, technology advances, and requests submitted throughout the year. Our goal with updating Cubic is to keep the product technically state-of-the-art, more efficient, and more pleasing to use. The following are the highlights of the major changes and new features found in Cubic version 21.0. We will begin with customer maintenance. There have been numerous enhancements made to customer maintenance. They are as follows. When accessing a customer inside of customer maintenance, selecting the Service Information tab, a new archived status has been added to the services. This new status is similar to the inactive status, but must have a zero balance before it can be changed to this new status. Services with the status cannot be billed, nor have payments posted to them. The following reports and programs have the new archive status checkbox: the route list, meter list, usage report, rate study, new meter list, payment assistance list, top usages charges report, and the remove exempt option in customer maintenance. The next new feature is located inside of the Bill Pay History tab. When selecting the Bill Pay History tab, you will notice a new button at the very bottom, View Bill Adjustment. When a bill item or adjustment item is selected inside of the Bill Pay History screen, the View Bill Adjustment button will enable. When the button is selected, it will display a PDF version of the bill or adjustment that is selected in the history grid. The next new feature inside of customer maintenance is located underneath the Billing Information tab. The pending transactions grid has now been changed to now include pending installments. This works the same as pending bills, pending payments, and many other pending options. The installment can be viewed by double-clicking on the grid item to view the detail. Next, on the customer maintenance screen, the options for ID change and copy, we are now displaying more of the customer name and now displaying the service address. The next new feature is a system-wide feature that we have changed from the existing Customers button, which is a pop-up menu that is displayed for you to choose either to view a customer or select customer maintenance. We have now added the ability that you can select Edit Customer from this menu item. As an example, if selecting a simple batch receipt that is existing in the system, when selecting this Customers button, you now have the ability to edit the customer as an option. Before, View Customer and Customer Maintenance was the only option. Now, returning back to the Customer Maintenance screen and selecting the Print option, will load a list of. Now, returning back to the Customer Maintenance screen, selecting the Print option will display a list of customer reports. Many of the customer reports now have the Return to this option screen after the report finishes processing option added to them. As an example, the customer ACH list now has the new feature added to the bottom of the report option screen. When selected, all the options selected for the report will be saved after the report finishes processing. One of the advantages this gives to the user is the ability to rerun the same report using the same options, but for a different date range. Many of the other reports that have this new feature are the Customer Budget Billing List, Customer Change Report, Customer Deposits Report, Customer E-Bill List, Customer History Report, Customer Level Billing List, Customer List, Customer Meter List, Customer New Meter List, Customer Notes Report, Customer Payment Assistance List, Customer Service List, and the Customer Usage Report. Next, when selecting the Customer Budget Billing List, we added a new balance range option, which now includes a customer balance option. Before, you could only run this report using the budget balance. For whichever option is selected, the report will display that selected balance option. Also in this new release, under the print options that display the customer reports, we have removed the tax exempt list and penalty exempt list and replaced it with a customer exemption list. This new report gives the ability to print a listing of customers and all their exemptions. For users with the database option, there is also the ability to send this report to Excel. Next, under the Customer Reports, when selecting the Customer Statement screen, you now have the ability to search the From Book and Account to Book and Account by selecting the magnifying glass next to the From Book field and the To Book field. This will go into a customer search screen where you can then change the sequences. As an example, using address and double-clicking to select to enter that book and account and from whichever you chose from the From or To Book field. There is also the ability to do the customer search on the From and To customer range fields in the Send e-Customer Statements. Selecting the Send e-Customer Statements, here you can also see the customer search feature. Now returning back to the customer maintenance screen. When accessing a customer's bill pay history by selecting the Bill Pay History tab, when a customer is on budget billing, when viewing bill pay history, the screen now shows the budget amount that was printed on the bill. This amount shows under the new balance fields. To accommodate this change, the reference field was moved to the top portion of the screen. If there was no budget amount on the bill, the field will be disabled. Moving on now to rates maintenance. There have been a couple of changes to rates maintenance. They are as follows. Rates maintenance. The grids in rates maintenance and rates search have a new metered charge usage factor column. This column lists the metered service charge usage factor. Inside of each rate code, when viewing or editing a rate, there is a new button at the bottom left-hand corner called Customers with this rate. When this button is pressed, the program will generate a listing of all the customers in the system that have the rate code. The Customers with this rate screen contains a grid of all the customers broken out by each service. The grid contains the customer's book, account, billing name, service address, service sequence, service balance, service status, units, meter size, multiplier, meter number, and handheld transponder number. There are options at the bottom to view the customer or edit the customer for the selected customer inside of the grid. There is also the ability to print the contents of the grid. Next, when processing a rate study, there are now service status options that have been added to the rate study option screen. Previously, the program used the customer status checkboxes to determine which services to use, but now it will use the new service status option checkboxes. Next, under the File, Utilities, Security options, when selecting or viewing a specific user, there are two new options that have been added to security to determine if a user has the ability to enter or update adjustments. The new checkboxes are Allow Adjustment Entry and Allow Adjustment Update. If the Allow Adjustment Entry checkbox is unchecked, the user will only have the ability to view adjustments entered in the system. The Add, Edit, Delete, Change Dates, and Recalculate buttons are disabled. If the Allow Adjustment Update checkbox is unchecked, the Adjustments Radio button on the bill print screen becomes disabled. The next new feature is located in the billing journal. We have added a new checkbox, Customer Type Grand Totals. This option will include totals for each customer type on the report. In this example, we see grand totals broken out by residential, commercial, and municipal customer types. And then at the end, displaying the grand total. The next new option has been added to e-billing to produce an e-reminder email. E-reminder allows the customer to receive a reminder email informing them that their electronic bill is available to be viewed online. This is an excellent way to send a follow-up days after the original e-bill notification is sent. The e-reminder email is set up in the General, System Controls options, selecting the existing e-bill information button, where the new tab e-reminder information can be selected. The options on the screen are basically the same as the e-bill, but have an additional option to exclude ACH customers from reminders. When this option is selected, any users who are on the ACH will not get a reminder email. Once the information has been set up for the e-reminder information, the option to send the e-reminder emails is on the existing Send e-bill notifications option screen, located underneath the billing options. At the bottom of the screen are the notification types. The options for e-bill and e-reminder are listed here. The rest of the process is the same as e-billing, but it will send the e-reminder email instead of the e-bill email. There are also preferences that can be set up for this option by selecting the File, Preferences, scrolling down to the Billing section and selecting the e-bill notifications. The notification type default option can be set to either e-bill or e-reminder. The next new feature is for delinquent notices. There is now the ability to suppress the due shutoff date that prints on the delinquent notice. This option can be located at the General, System Controls, Preferences tab, and selecting the option to suppress the due shutoff date on the delinquent shutoff notice. Next, there have been a couple new options added to pay types. Pay types are located under the general options, and then selecting pay types from the menu. When editing a pay type or adding a pay type, the user now has the ability to exclude pay types from payment deposit entry. When the new checkbox is to exclude the pay type is checked, the pay type will not be available in the pay types dropdown for payment or deposit transactions. There is also the ability to flag a pay type as ACH applicable. When the new ACH applicable checkbox is checked and the Generate ACH file program, only pay types that are ACH applicable will list in the pay types dropdown. During the creation of an ACH file, while using the preview option, a View Customer button has been added to the bottom of the screen. This button, when it's selected, it will view the customer that is selected in the preview grid. Also, there is now the ability to force the user to enter a posting date for batch receipts update and simple batch posting update, rather than having it default to the current date when the OK button is selected. This is accomplished by going under the General, System Controls, Edit, selecting the Cash Receipts tab, then selecting the new checkbox option to require posting date to be manually entered in Batch Receipts Posting and Simple Batch Receipts Posting. Once you have selected OK to save this option, now when going in either the Batch Receipts Update or Simple Batch Receipts Update option screen, if the posting date is skipped and the OK button is selected, you will now receive an error message with an invalid posting date. It will say the posting date is invalid. Once you select OK, it will force you to put in a posting date. In the receipt posting screens, we have updated those screens to show the budget balance amount for budget billing customers. So as an example, inside of the receipt posting screen while posting a payment, this customer here is a budget customer. The budget balance will display on the receipt posting screen. Also in receipt posting and batch receipt posting, while processing a write-off, we have added a new column, the new balance column. This will show the new balance for the service when the write-off amount is changed. As you can see in this example, the write-off amount is changed for this customer to $500, resulting in a new balance of $19.94. Also in the new update, when doing payment adjusters, we have added the terminal ID to the option screen. Next, when using the bulk apply deposits located underneath the receipt options, we have added a new move-in date range to the option screen. This gives the user the ability to select a move-in date range to filter the customers on whom will receive their deposits. Using the purge options underneath the File Utilities, Purge Files, for the posting, bill pay history, usage, invoice, installments, and notes, In the options screen, we have added the customer statuses to determine which customers will be purged. Also, when performing the purge and not printing the listing of the purged records, a posting screen will now be displayed showing which customer it is processing. Next, for users of the Internet Inquiry, the website and interface has been completely redesigned. Please see the Internet Inquiry Update video to review the updates of the Internet Inquiry site. Here are the details of the new updates to the Internet Inquiry site options within Cubic. First, Internet Inquiry will no longer use the customer's book, account, and PIN to access the customer's account. Customers will now need to register an account on the company's new Internet Inquiry site. The customer will now be the only person who has access to the login credentials. Your Internet Inquiry customer online services is now hosted on cubicutilitybilling.com instead of drfry.biz. Your Internet Inquiry customer online services site has also been redesigned to use a responsive design, so the site will display whether it is being accessed from a desktop computer, laptop computer, tablet, or smartphone. The URL for the web pages that aren't dynamically generated for your organization will no longer use your Cubic identification number as part of the URL. That portion of the URL is now replaced with an organization-specific ID, which is a variation of your organization's name and state in which it is located. The Generate Internet Inquiry Database options screen has now two new options. Require all customers to reset their Internet Inquiry password, and to remove all registered accounts from Internet Inquiry. If either of these new options is selected, the user will have to type yes to verify that they want to continue to generate with the selected option. When the Require all customers to reset their Internet Inquiry password option is selected, once the database is generated and transferred, all Cubic Internet Inquiry registered accounts will be updated to require a password reset the next time the customer logs into the Cubic Internet Inquiry site. Please note that a customer will need to have an email account defined in Cubic for a customer to be able to perform a password reset. Remember, emails are found underneath the Customer Maintenance screen. Accessing a customer's account, under the Billing Information and Owner Information tab, there is customer email addresses that can be filled in. These are required. When choosing to remove all registered accounts from Internet Inquiry, once the database is generated and transferred, all Cubic Internet Inquiry registered accounts will be removed and all customers will need to re-register on the Cubic Internet Inquiry site. Again, customers must have an email account set up in Cubic to be included in the generated Internet Inquiry database. Also, a new menu item underneath the General Internet Inquiry to require a password reset. When this new item is selected, the Require Password Reset will allow the Cubic user to select a single user to require a password reset to be done for their Cubic Internet Inquiry registered account. The Cubic user must verify the customer is correct by typing yes to continue. Once the Cubic user has verified the customer is correct, the customer's Cubic Internet Inquiry registered account will be updated to require a password reset the next time the customer logs in to their account. Note that a customer will need to have an email account defined in Cubic for a customer to be able to perform a password reset. There is also a new menu item underneath the General Internet Inquiry to remove a registered account. Selecting Remove Registered Account allows the Cubic user to select a single customer to have their registered account removed from the Cubic Internet Inquiry site. Once selecting the customer in this screen and selecting OK, the Cubic user must verify the customer is the correct customer to have their registered account removed by typing yes to continue processing the registered account removal. Once the Cubic user has verified that the customer is correct, the customer's Cubic Internet Inquiry registered account will be removed. The customer would then need to re-register on the Cubic Internet Inquiry site. This now concludes our Cubic version 21 update video. We at FREY Municipal Software would like to thank all of our users for your ideas and suggestions. You are the driving force behind the changes that are implemented into the Cubic system. We also like to thank everyone who responded to the Cubic survey and the beta testing of the product. Any questions, please email support@freymunicipalsoftware.com. Thank you and take care.